Hey there, Cutie and Cosplay here with another video. So today I thought I'd share some of my pet sitting stories because pet sitting, house sitting is a big part of what I do. It is my secondary side hustle, if you will, and I spend a lot of time doing it. So I have a couple stories to share and I thought I'd do that with you all today. Let's get into it. Starting off with my first story. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me while pet sitting, and I do say that grateful that nothing worse has happened, but still. So the dog and I were outside at the time enjoying some sun, sitting down on the ground. It is important to note that I was wearing socks and no shoes. I hear somebody outside the fence talking, and I was worried that it would be the landscaper coming into the yard, and I didn't want the dog to escape or anything like that, so I grabbed the dog and we head into the garage. Turns out it was the mailman, and he's still talking, and the dog starts running to the closed garage door and to bark at them. I'm already panicked from thinking like maybe the dog would escape because somebody came into the yard, so I chase the dog, and as I'm chasing them I feel something on my foot. I think it's leaves or like some other garage stuff that I walked through. I get the dog and I start to turn around and I look down at my foot, and my brain just acted like when chickens see a line and just instantly think it's a snake. I just saw this shape stuck to my foot and my brain just went, "Creature! Ah!" In this blind panic, I grabbed them, felt this squishy and scaly creature, and I flung them to the garage floor. I was either panic talking to myself or panic screaming, I don't quite remember, but I get the dog and we run into the house. I take off my socks and wash my hands the whole time, just trying to process what the hell just happened. Eventually I get up the courage and I go out to see what it really was, and sure enough, there was a poor little lizard just chilling in there. I tried to catch him at that moment and he ran away, but hours later I went out and he was hanging out in the same place, hopefully waiting for me to come save him. I caught him and I managed to release him out into the night, and he was totally fine, and I would like to think that he had a crazy story for his lizard family about being captured, dragged against his will, flung, and then temporarily imprisoned. So that is the story of having a lizard accidentally hitch a ride on my sock. It was really terrifying. But then afterwards kind of cute because I got to save this little lizard friend. And I'm very sorry that I panicked and grabbed him like that. So my second story, I was pet sitting for these two dogs for the first time. I had only met them once and they seemed uncomfortable at best. But I was looking forward to spending time with them and getting to know them. Cut to the first night I spent with them, and they were restricted to a small part of the house. I spent some time with them and they just weren't having it. They were barking constantly. If I left them alone, they'd eat their food, but didn't really want to hang out with me. I left them alone and I tried to get ready for bed and to sleep. When I'm done, they're still barking. I get in bed, still barking. I put in my earbuds to try and drown out the high-pitched noise, which was very difficult. They did not do a good job at all. I contacted the owner, and at that point they hadn't gotten back to me yet. Hours go by, like SpongeBob hours, 5 hours later kind of stuff, and they're not done barking, and I'm not sleeping. It's the dead of night, and through my earbuds I hear some horrifying slams. My heart just stops and I take off my earbuds wondering what that was. I hear more loud noises and I shakily head towards the front door. I'm seriously in a horror movie because I'm just slowly creeping towards the door and going, "Hello?" Because I am terrified to open the door this late. I open it and it's this younger guy that was over at the neighbor's. He's pissed and is asking me to quiet the dogs. And in a shaky voice and through tears, I explain what's going on, that these aren't my dogs, I'm pet sitting the first night, blah blah blah. And he ends up being like, Wow, I feel sorry for you. Now, that's terrible. Good night. I hope you get some sleep. And that's basically how it ended. Shortly after this, I do get in contact with the owners. I tried their suggestions, but it just wasn't working out that night for whatever reasons. Eventually, I just pass out from sheer exhaustion, and the next day ended up a lot better. We spent a lot of time together, and they just ended up being actually one of my favorite pets to pet sit for. Just funny that it started off so horribly and then became like the best. Really cute, love them. And my third story, I was at this house, pet sitting at this house that had a bunny. His routine was usually cleaning up his little house that was on the porch outside, and then I'd give him his food and greens, and that was basically it. For some reason one morning he dumped his greens and then refused to eat them because they had touched ground, I guess, I don't know. Cut to that night, and I'm trying to sleep, and I start hearing this loud slamming noise, followed by an angry bunny grunt. I go see what's up with them, and I don't see anything out of the ordinary, but he's so grumpy. I thought maybe there was an animal outside, so I brought him to his inside space a few minutes later, and he's still making his loud, angry bunny noises. I put him back in his first house, the original one, and he's still mad. Eventually, I remember the greens that he'd spilled and didn't get to eat, and I bring him some, and he's just instantly happy. It's a short little story, but I just thought it was so ridiculous that hours later he was so mad about a snack that he himself had refused to eat, and he just didn't forget that. Just really ridiculous. That bunny, he's a bunny that knows what he wants. And those are 3 of my adventures in pet sitting. It's usually really great, and those stories weren't even that bad. Like I said, I'm grateful that nothing worse has happened, no serious emergencies, anything like that. Yeah, and let me know if you guys have your own stories about your pets, or maybe you do pet sitting too, or maybe you have a job where you work with animals. Any kind of funny animal stories, let me know in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!